We're here with Kevin and Mary, who have the owners of the home where we have done the remodel project you've been watching. We wanted to spend a few minutes with you getting your opinions on how Miller Pools was your choice. How did you feel about the advice on critical decision making, like tile, coping, plaster? And what was your experience with communication during the job, the crews, how they left your property, and say it like it is so others can have the same experience?
Well, I'll start if I can, because we talked about wanting to do something to the pool. We bought a house that was over 30 years old. A lot of things hadn't been done, one of which was the pool. So we had no idea whether the pool was level. We had a peat gravel deck. There were tiles that were cracked and chipped, and it just hadn't been plastered in a while. We didn't know what all that meant. So I just started calling around the area, Houston, Pasadena, Baytown, looking for anybody that did this kind of work. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I just stumbled upon you or someone said, check out Michael Miller. Anyhow, I called Michael Miller, and our experience up until that time wasn't really positive. I only had one other person that came out to the house, and frankly, he gave me a price limit that if I wasn't at least that, it wasn't something he was going to come out to do. We didn't experience that with Michael at all. So from the very first meeting that we had, I talked to Michael a couple of times. He suggested we come out to his office building. We came out there, and that's really where we started to get an idea of him, the extent of the work, and the daunting task of picking colors and things like that.
Well, and that's where I would like to applaud Michael, because I'm a visual person, and I was having a hard time at just trying to visualize what colors I wanted, what the overall effect. I knew in my head, but Michael was so good about walking us through every one of those steps and actually letting us see exactly what it would look like, whether by going out to the where we picked the flagstone. We actually went out and saw the flagstone in the crates and were able to pick, and every single one of the choices from the coping and the tile work. He brought me choices. We laid it out so we could actually see what it was going to look like. It was fabulous. I applaud him for that, because I know I probably wasn't the easiest customer he ever worked with in that respect, because I was very hands-on. And the other thing I'd really like to make note of is that every one of the people that he had come to the house, whether they were leveling or replastering, every single workman that he sent to the house was respectful, courteous, they were cleanly. I never, being the woman alone in the house, I never any day felt like I needed to call, that I was uncomfortable with anybody. And Michael kept in constant communication with me, and I appreciated that too, because I wanted to know what was going on all the time. And he took great priority with me, and I couldn't thank him enough for that.
And so husbands, let me pick up right there, because to be stereotypical of men, we don't ask a lot of questions. My philosophy is, Michael, you know a whole lot more about pools than I do. Kind of got to rough this thing out. Here's what I'm looking for. What do you think? If this was your pool in your backyard, what would you do? What would you think? Mary is much more visual. She's got a concept. She knows what she's looking for. Personally, working the hours that I do, Mary's home all day long, I really appreciate it. Sometimes people don't always treat the spouse the way they do the man of the family. Michael actually talked to Mary all day, every day, was out here looking at the project. Yes, we talked from time to time, but really it was in Mary's hand to work with Michael, and that meant no difference to Michael. For me, that was a very big deal, that he let her have her creative influence on the project, and I think that bears out in how it ultimately resulted.
Yep. Very happy all the way around.
So any little last comments about anyone who's watching this video to get them to maybe how they should look at doing a large project like this, and just the last comment about perhaps which company they should use?
Well, we definitely would recommend you, and that's not just because you're videotaping us. And I would say, you know, you got to go with the flow, because things don't always happen like they're supposed to. We had a lot of weather involved in ours. you can't help that. And
Yeah. The video, I spoke of day number 1, 2, 3. Of course, I didn't mention the fact that it had been a week and a half since the last day because of the rains.
Right. And Mary said that we would recommend you. I have already recommended Miller Pool. In fact, there's nobody else I would recommend. Obviously, this is the first time we've done this. But, you know, when you do something that's this large and you're talking deck and pool and they got into leveling and everything else that they had to do, that honestly, I don't have a clue what all they did. But honestly, all I care about at the end of the day is we have a pool that we're very proud of. We like entertaining out here. We go for daily and nightly dips in the pool, and Michael really satisfied with Miller Pool. Thank you for treating us like we were your only customer, even though you're juggling other projects. We felt like we had your attention, and that was really important to us.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. We'll only recommend Miller Pool.
Well, thank you. I appreciate those great words. All right. Well, we'll see you soon, and enjoy your swimming.